He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. She did what? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. If you have not already done so, please do subscribe to this channel, turn your notifications on, and make sure that you like this video to extend its reach so that more people can learn about narcissism from a source that provides them with accurate information. My thanks in advance. In the quiet, verdant expanse of the Althorpe estate in Northamptonshire, England, lies a small island in the centre of the round, oval lake, a serene and secluded spot chosen as the final resting place of Diana, Princess of Wales. This tranquil setting, surrounded by water and shaded by trees, was selected by her brother, Charles Spencer, to ensure privacy and protection from public intrusion after her tragic death in a parish car crash on August 31st, 1997. The island, accessible only by a small rowing boat, has become a sacred site for Diana's family, particularly her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. It is here that Prince Harry brought his then-girlfriend in 2017, and later, as this one's wife, in 2022, to pay respects to his mother, an emotional pilgrimage detailed in his memoir, Spare. These visits, steeped in personal significance, have sparked intrigue, speculation, and rumours about this one's wife's actions at the grave, fuelled by media coverage and public fascination with this one's wife's connection to the late Princess of Wales. The Althorpe estate, a sprawling 13,000-acre property owned by the Spencer family since 1508, holds deep historical and emotional resonance for Diana's family. Diana grew up at Althorpe, and after her death at age 36, her brother chose the island in the round oval lake as her burial site to safeguard it from the overwhelming public attention that followed her passing. The decision was driven by concerns for security and the desire to provide a private space where Diana's sons could visit her in peace. A temple on the lake's edge, originally built to commemorate a naval victory, now serves as a memorial where visitors can leave flowers and messages, though the island itself remains off-limits to the public. This secluded setting underscores the intimacy of the visits made by Diana's family, including Harry and this one's wife, and has contributed to the mystique surrounding this one's wife's actions at the grave. In Spare, published in January 2023, Prince Harry recounts two significant visits to his mother's grave with this one's wife. The first occurred in August 2017 on the 20th anniversary of Diana's death, when Harry and this one's wife were still dating. The second took place in 2022, just before Queen Elizabeth II's death, marking the 25th anniversary of Diana's passing and this one's wife's first visit as this one's wife. Both visits were deeply personal, with Harry describing the emotional weight of bringing the girl of my dreams to meet his mother. The 2017 visit in particular has drawn significant attention due to Harry's vivid description of this one's wife's actions at the grave site. He writes that after he placed flowers on the grave and spoke to his mother in his head, asking for guidance, he sensed that this one's wife desired a private moment. When he returned, he found her on her knees with her eyes closed and her palms flat against the stone, asking Diana for clarity and guidance. This poignant image, detailed in Spare, has been widely reported by a variety of different outlets, cementing it as a defining moment in this one's wife's supposed connection to Diana. The act of this one's wife kneeling at the grave, placing her hands on the stone, and seeking guidance has been interpreted as a deeply spiritual gesture, reflecting her desire to connect with the mother-in-law that she never met. Harry has frequently drawn parallels between This One's Wife and Diana, noting in their Netflix docuseries Harry and This One's Wife that his wife shares his mother's compassion, empathy, and warmth. That naturally demonstrates the extent to which Harry has been duped by This One's Wife, and that his own emotional thinking and being subjected to the manipulations of This One's Wife have caused him to believe that she exhibits compassion, empathy, and warmth in the way that Diana did, when they were completely different people. The act of This One's Wife kneeling at the grave, placing her hands on the stone, of course, was an act of triangulation. Whilst she may believe that she has some special connection with Diana, which is driven by her own magical thinking and sense of entitlement, born out of her narcissism, in that particular moment, her actions were driven by the necessity of asserting control over Harry. By making it look like she had some special connection with Diana, it would cause him to react, and thus demonstrate that he was under control and that would provide This One's Wife with fuel. Once again demonstrating how the narcissist finds nothing off limits. The narcissist will use her intimate partner primary source's dead mother as an object of triangulation with Harry in order to control him and in order to draw fuel from him, and will later rely upon the recollection of that event thereafter. But it doesn't just end there. That visit was what was recorded by Harry in his autobiography. The 2022 visit, described as coinciding with the 25th anniversary of Diana's death, carried additional weight as it followed the couple's decision to step back from royal duties in 2020. The logistics of the visits themselves have added a layer of intrigue. Harry describes in Spare the difficulty of reaching the island, noting that the bridge once connecting it to the mainland was removed to deter intruders. In both 2017 and 2022, he and This One's Wife rowed a small boat to the island, with the 2022 visit complicated by the boat getting stuck in the mud, requiring a little push from Charles Spencer. Diana's siblings, Charles Spencer, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, and Lady Jane Fellows, attended during the 2022 visit, emphasising the familial significance of the occasion. They have maintained relatively close ties with Harry and have supported his connection to his mother's legacy. There have also been further details about these visits that have appeared in publications. For instance, in the Express in 2019, it speculated that This One's Wife delayed visiting the grave until she could bring her son Archie, suggesting a deliberate choice to include her child in the pilgrimage. Whilst this narrative aligns with Harry's desire to honour his mother's memory with his family, it contrasts with the confirmed 2017 visit, indicating that This One's Wife had visited earlier. There's no actual evidence that that was the case, but it would appear that the media was once again seeking to craft a story around This One's Wife's actions. Furthermore, there is also been suggested that This One's Wife has actually been banned from Althorpe House, or the estate as a whole, where Diana, Princess of Wales, is buried. It's been suggested, albeit this has just appeared on social media, that she was barred as a consequence of disrespectful behaviour at Diana's grave, or for making outrageous demands related to the Spencer family's estate. The fact is that Harry, in his memoir, confirms attendance on 2 occasions, 2017 and 2022, with no indication of a ban. If there is, it would be understandable that it would not get mentioned necessarily by Harry or This One's Wife, but there is no credible evidence of that. But there persists the rumour that This One's Wife engaged in some despicable behaviour at the Graveside, which has resulted in this ban. And latterly, the suggestion has been made that This One's Wife was caught pissing on Diana, Princess of Wales's grave. I shit thee nay. The comments state that a security van and a gardener caught her pissing on Diana's grave. Apparently Earl Spencer was entirely furious and disgusted and kicked out both Harry and this one's wife. Interestingly, in response to that statement, somebody commented, "They sue at the drop of a hat. If it wasn't true, they would have sued. I believe it's true." Well, without defending this one's wife or Harry, if they were to sue in relation to every single thing that was said about them, they would end up with no money and they would be doing nothing other than in court. It's clearly there are instances where basically they ignore tittle-tattle on the internet, even though it's untrue, because it isn't worth their while to commence legal proceedings to do anything about it. They save their litigiousness to more material and substantial matters, as we have seen. The rumour of her taking a leak on Diana's grave has persisted, with somebody else stating that she was caught on security cameras pissing near the grave. So some say on it, some say near it. But there's no actual credible evidence to support this. There's no leaked footage that shows her engaging in this behaviour. And once again, it's demonstrative of the nonsense that is put out there in relation to this one's wife. As you know, I'm a critic of her behaviour as a consequence of the fact that I find her a boring individual, and I highlight all of the failures that occur, but explain them through the lens of her narcissism. But I wanted to include this to demonstrate, in part, the actual narcissistic behaviour of this one's wife that she engaged in by exhibiting false compassion towards Harry by attending the grave, and then demonstrating her magical thinking as she continues with her Diana duplication and triangulation of Harry by seeking to commune with Diana. We know, at least as per Harry's recollection, that is likely to have happened, because it's an admission contained within Spare. And therefore, based upon this more credible evidence, we are able to explain her narcissism. If it didn't happen, then this one's wife caused Harry to include that in Spare as part of the management of her facade, to make her seem like she has this connection to Diana because she believes that she is special. Either way, that act of supposedly placing her hands on the grave and seeking guidance, whether it happened or not, allows us to understand more about her narcissism. And it's entirely credible, given her Diana duplication behaviour, that she would engage in such activity. Might a narcissist piss on or near the grave of somebody? Undoubtedly so. They could do so as a consequence of their absence of emotional empathy and absence of boundary recognition. However, it's problematic because, quite simply, that Harry would be in the vicinity with this one's wife. He's unlikely to wander off and leave her doing whatever she wanted. And therefore, her narcissism wouldn't guide her to take such a step, particularly in 2017, when he would still be in the golden period, because it would threaten her control of him. Furthermore, there is the possibility that she might have been seen by individuals which would damage her facade. And therefore, whilst it's possible that a narcissist could engage in such behaviour, there's no actual credible evidence to support it, and furthermore, it's highly unlikely that this particular narcissist would engage in such activity for the reasons that I've outlined. Yet again, speculation of this nature only serves to maintain the victim narrative that is advanced by the Sussexes, that it allows them to maintain that they are frequently briefed against, hated, subjected to racist, hateful, misogynistic behaviour, and in the circumstances, that is problematic in relation to those that seek to uncover the actual truth about this one's wife and Harry. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.